Fundamentally, how we grow our food and where we get it has to change. And the reason it has to change is because as effective as our food production and delivery systems have been for the last 11,000 years, the reality is they're unsustainable. And they're unsustainable for a lot of different reasons. The fact is we're running out of arable land, we're running out of easily accessible water, and the population is continuing to grow, and the demand for food is continuing to grow, and will grow by another couple of billion people over the next 20 years. So just mathematically, we don't have the water, we don't have the land to supply the number of people using the same farming methods that we've used for thousands of years. And that's the really fascinating thing about all of this, is the fact that our farm to table delivery system is so efficient. It allows us to eat better than the Roman emperors and the Chinese emperors. We have more variety of food and cuisine than has ever existed before in the history of the world. If you live in any first world country, you can walk out of your house, you can walk out of your office right now, you can go down the street, and you can get more food from a variety of places than anyone ever has in the history of the world. So this creates a huge disconnect, though, because the fact is the system's working better than it's ever worked before. There are more people alive today than have lived in the sum total of human history. And we're feeding all of those people. And we're feeding them more food than has ever been fed in the history of the world. But because of the nature of how we utilize the resources to grow our food, it's the utilization of those resources, and it's the waste byproduct of that system. Now, what a lot of people don't know about is we're acidifying the oceans. And a big reason that we're acidifying the oceans is because of nitrogen runoff from all the nitrogen that we dump on the crops in the form of fertilizers. If you go to where the Mississippi River exits into the Gulf of Mexico, there's hundreds and hundreds of miles of what's called the dead zone, where there's nothing that can live because the amount of nitrogen in the water makes it to where the fish can't breathe. And the plants can't breathe, so nothing grows, nothing can survive. These are the fundamental problems that are systemically involved in our food growing systems. And when I first found out about this, I found out about the disappearing available land, the draining of the world's aquifers, the amount of waste byproduct that was going into our oceans. I knew that I needed to find a solution. And I needed to find something that would be sustainable, that wouldn't use pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers. So there wouldn't be that kind of runoff. And the more research I did, I came across aquaponics, which aquaponics, like the system behind me, is a system where you simply have to feed the fish high-end organic food, and it's their emulsion, it's their waste that then goes into the water, and through a complex system of life in the water, transmutes that waste into compounds that the plants can actually uptake and grow and thrive off of. It uses 95% less water than traditional farming. So I knew that these kind of systems, if they could be applied in a way that could be commercially viable and economically viable, could be the solution that people were looking for. And so that was what we set out to do at Eden, was to not only design a highly efficient aquaponics system, but design an aquaponics system that utilized human and electrical energy in such an economical way that it could actually deliver a profit and function for long periods of time efficiently without outside inputs going into the system. And that's everything that we're doing at Eden, is we're trying to develop more perfected economies of scale when it comes to indoor farming. And that's why we faceted on with our modular farming concepts. Because what we've seen at Eden is that by creating modular farms that can be scaled up, you can much more efficiently control the energy usage, and the output of the systems can be managed much more efficiently and then stacked on top of one another. So that's why Eden. That's why we feel Eden is a good company to be keeping track of at this time, because we are asking that forward question of how do you take the next step to farming 2.0 from the system of farming that we've utilized for the last 11,000 years.